If it's important that your subscribers get your emails, here are some things you should be watching. Hi everybody, my name is Greg Crable and this is my podcast, Something I Learned Yesterday, in which I take one issue from the world of publishing and try to explain it in about 3 or 4 minutes. Today's is closer to 5. Many publishers sell paid e-newsletter subscriptions, and many others rely on their free e-newsletters for their business strategy in one way or another. All subscription publishers know that renewals depend on engagement. That means that these publishers should be tracking the health of their distribution lists to ensure that their subscribers are getting their issues. How do you do that? I'll get to that in a moment. First, I want to mention that email deliverability is a big topic that involves a lot of technical details. You should make sure you're using a reliable email service provider, that they have things configured correctly, that they have a deliverability team to monitor your sends, and that you're following email best practices. What I'm going to discuss today are the specific issues that you'll need to address if you have a paid e-newsletter, or if for some other reason it's very important that you ensure your subscribers are getting their emails. It starts with the sign up or registration. You have to ensure you're starting this relationship off with a valid email address. The simplest way to do that is twofold. One, verify the structure of the email in the form itself. What I mean by that is use JavaScript to ensure that what they enter in the form is something at something dot something. Doesn't mean it's correct, but it eliminates some bad addresses. And then the second thing is to use double opt-in. That's where a new email address isn't officially added to the list until you send the recipient a test email and the person verifies receipt. Those 2 steps will get you off to a good start with a fairly clean list. However, if you use double opt-in, remember that some people don't verify their emails. So you should have a marketing automation journey for those people. Even with double opt-in, it might be a good idea to ask for a secondary email address in case problems develop with the first one. Just because an email address is valid and deliverable today doesn't mean it will be in 6 months. And if all you have is a bad email address, you're stuck. You can't contact them. Now, some of you marketers are thinking, this is too much. Making the sign-up process more complicated suppresses response. And that's very true. So do the double opt-in and ask for the secondary email address after you already received the order, and explain that you're doing this stuff for their benefit to make sure they get their issues. But it's true, don't clutter up the order form with all that stuff. If you have a subscription publication, people are coming on and off the list all the time, and you have to generate a distribution list for each issue, either from your fulfillment system or just inside your email service provider. If the list is generated from your fulfillment system, there can be a disconnect between what your fulfillment system thinks is active and what your ESP thinks is active. For example, if someone clicks an unsubscribe link on one of your emails, that would update your ESP, but not your fulfillment system. Keep an eye on that. Make sure that they're in sync. Once an issue has been sent, your ESP should have data on undeliverables, opens, clicks, and so on. Now comes the difficult part, sorting through the delivery reports. First, let's tackle undeliverables. An undeliverable means your email is not getting through at all. It's expired, or there's a typo in it, or something like that. If there's an obvious typo, fix it and resend the issue to the new address. Otherwise, you might have to reach out to the subscriber to get an update. That's the virtue of having a secondary email address or some other way to contact the subscriber. Maybe you can text them, call them, or even send them a letter. How far you're willing to go will be determined by how much you want to invest in keeping a current subscriber active. There are also services that can update bad emails for you. A simple example is when a company changes the structure of their emails, say from first initial last name at company.com to first name dot last name at company.com. While companies usually forward emails in such cases, sometimes they only forward it for a limited period of time. So an update service can automate that process of cleaning up bad addresses. So we've done all that and we still have undeliverable emails or emails that are never being opened. What do you do? Before I get to that, I have to mention that open rates aren't all that valuable anymore. I'll do a show on that maybe later this week. To decide how far you want to go in hunting down undeliverable messages, you have to assign some value to keeping that connection alive. If you're trying to deliver a $500 paid e-newsletter, you'd better make reasonable efforts to make sure that e-newsletters are being delivered. If it's a free ad-supported email, you might make far less aggressive attempts to fix the problems. Now, obviously I can't cover every nook and cranny of this issue in my short podcast, but I hope I've outlined it well enough that you have a good idea of what to look for and how to make this work for your e-newsletters. But if you'd like to chat about it, give me a call. You'll see my contact information on the next slide. Thanks so much.